Hey guys, what's going on? You're watching TbonesTech, and in this video we're going to be doing a review over the brand new Canon SL2. The SL2 is the best bang for the buck when it comes to buying your first Canon DSLR. The body only is going to cost you $550, and it shares the exact same sensor as the $750 Canon T7i and the $1,200 Canon 80D. Because it shares the exact same sensor, the image quality is going to be almost identical across all three of these cameras. Probably my favorite feature of the SL2 is going to be its variable angle touchscreen. This variable angle screen is going to allow you to see yourself when taking selfies or when for vlogging, and it's great for being able to frame those hard to get shots. The Canon SL2 features Canon's dual pixel AF, which has an absolutely fantastic face detection system, which is going to allow this camera to autofocus on faces, and it's also going to allow you to set autofocus points and track them. It's extremely easy and it's extremely fast, and it's what's found on much more expensive cameras. Canon's dual pixel AF is also going to help when focusing while looking at the LCD screen and not looking down the mirror. Usually when you're looking at the LCD screen, your Canon DSLRs are going to be much slower when trying to focus. However, with this Canon SL2, Canon's dual pixel AF really closes in the gap between the mirror and between the LCD screen. The SL2 has 9 autofocus points and is the same autofocusing system when looking down the mirror as the Canon T5 I had, so it's a little outdated, but that's nothing too crazy. I have found when shooting this camera at night, it tends to be much more laggy than a Canon 80D or a Canon T7i, and that's because it has considerably less autofocus points. The max shutter speed the SL2 has is 1/4000th of a second, which is pretty much the standard for all Canon Rebel cameras. It's extremely fast, and you shouldn't need to shoot any faster than that. The minimum ISO of this camera is going to be ISO 100, and the maximum ISO of this camera is going to be ISO 25600. The SL2 is surprisingly very good in low light. I've taken very clean images at ISO 6400 and ISO 12800. And with a little help from Lightroom, we can also take usable images at ISO 25600. Which is absolutely fantastic, especially considering this is a $550 camera. The SL2 shoots 5 frames per second, which is going to be great for sports and action photography. When shooting sports, the more frames per second you have, the better. The Canon SL2 has built-in Wi-Fi and NFC, and that allows you to connect wirelessly to your smartphone via Canon's Camera Connect app. With Canon's Camera Connect app, you can actually use your smartphone as a remote control. So you can actually see what your camera is seeing, and then you can take a picture. You can also fully manually control your camera straight from your smartphone, and from there you can also pull those images straight to your phone, and you can easily post them to your social media. The SL2 is going to be fantastic for taking video. It is essentially a miniaturized version of the Canon 80D. It has the exact same sensor which I talked about earlier, and it also has an actually newer image processor which helps get cleaner video when shooting in low light. It shoots 1080p video at 24 frames a second, 30 frames a second, or 60 frames a second, again just like the Canon 80D. 1080p at 60 frames per second is going to allow you to get some nice smooth pans and tilts, and you can slow down the footage 50% without dropping any frames. So it's going to make your video twice as smooth. The SL2 has HDMI out, of course USB plug, and it also has a plug here for a wired remote, and last but not least, it has a 3.5mm in audio jack, and that will allow you to put a shotgun microphone on top of the camera and help you capture much more clean audio than the audio that's going to be captured just with the built-in dual microphones. As far as build quality, the SL2 does feel very premium. It feels just about as premium as a Canon T7i would, and it feels much more premium than a Canon Rebel T6's. All the buttons feel really nice and are super easy to use. Unfortunately, there is no aperture wheel, but of course you really couldn't fit an aperture wheel on this camera. So to change the aperture, you're just going to hold down the AV button while moving the shutter speed dial. Of course, you can change the shutter speed by just using the shutter speed dial without any buttons pressed in. And it also does actually have a quick ISO button, which will allow you to change the ISO while looking down the mirror very fast. Now to talk about image quality. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this camera has a 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor. It is an absolutely fantastic sensor made by Canon. Overall, the Canon SL2 is probably one of my favorite Canon cameras right now. It's just so incredibly small and lightweight. You can take it anywhere. You can almost fit it in your pocket if you have this super small 24mm lens attached to it. It weighs almost nothing. It weighs almost as much as an iPhone with a battery case does. So you could carry this around all day long without any problems and still be able to take amazing pictures. After using this camera for about 3 months, I've absolutely fallen in love with it. It has all the exact same features that a Canon 80D or Canon T7i would have, with just a couple of downsides. And probably the best thing about this camera is it only costs $550. So $550 for the body only. Go pick one up right now, enjoy it, have fun with it, and you know that you got the best bang for the buck. Of course, with higher end Canon cameras, there are going to be some higher, more premium features that you're going to get. But if you're not a professional and don't need all those high end features, then definitely just pick up the Canon SL2. That's all I got for you guys in this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to give this video a big thumbs up down below, as always, and of course make sure to subscribe to this channel and then you'll be notified when I release new videos to this YouTube channel. Again, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will catch you all in the next one.